Hi everyone, welcome to Mayhem of Innovation, the Digital Forge, our first ever Hacking Club monthly workshop. As usual, let's get started. Sorry for the wait, we just had to give some people some time to join up, but thank you for being patient with me. Also, if you can, as usual, turn on your camera if possible, so we can see everyone. This is the first workshop that we're hosting, so therefore, this meeting with the first session will just be like a general introduction to what the event is and what you guys gonna do, right? Before we get started, I'm interested. How many of you guys already have your summer break started? If your summer break already started, type yes in the chat. For me personally, it's starting after next week. But anyways, let's get started. So what we're going to do in this Mayhem of Innovation is that it's going to be a workshop, right? For the whole duration of this weekend, from today to tomorrow. Tomorrow, I think the end of tomorrow at 12 a.m. If you're going into the Discord server, which I'm pretty sure all of you guys should be in the Discord server because it is an online workshop, so you need to be in the Discord server. If you guys are not in the Discord server, I'll just send the Discord link in the chat. But I'm pretty sure everyone's in the Discord. All right. But anyways, if you scroll down here, you can see a section that's called Mayhem of Innovation. And here you will find all the information that you need. For example, in the announcement, you can see the challenges that we'll have. In this workshop, we'll have 4 different challenges that you can participate in. The Digital Blacksmith Challenge, the Digital Alchemist Challenge, the Digital Forger Challenge, the Digital Sculptor Challenge. Well, each one of, you can basically just read the description later, but all 4 of these challenges are with like a scope to a certain scene. All I have to do is just create an app or a product based on that scene. For example, if you're talking about the Digital Blacksmith Challenge, it's more about creating an educational gaming app or something like that. It's like forging something, right? Sculptor Challenge is more about more artistic, you can say. Maybe you can use 3D modeling, just create something interesting to show us. Or maybe perhaps if you're interested in the Digital Alchemist Challenge, the concept of alchemy is turn something into something else, right? So we'll be talking about maybe like a more transformative app, a problem-solving app, something like that. And then we have the Digital Forger Challenge, which is basically the more general one. This one is more about want to explore the digital document verification round, and also maybe talking about some cybersecurity with it. This month's theme is Digital Forge. That's why all 4 of these challenges are related to the theme of Digital Forge. That's why you can see the words Blacksmith, Sculptor, Alchemist, Forger, all related to the theme of Digital Forge. If you're wondering what is Digital Forge, it's basically the concept of forging something digitally, in our context at least. But as always, these challenges are not about just creating the perfect app, right? It's about learning and growing, having fun. It's the purpose of a workshop. It's about exploring your creativity and putting your skills to learn. And then now at this workshop, you can put it to the test. Obviously, facilitators, aka me and the officers, will be available to assist you throughout this workshop if you have any questions. That's why we have the workshop general. Feel free to type any question you have over here, or any problems that you run into while creating your app or anything like that, or clarifications on any rules or anything like that. The session timeline for this event, we'll have, obviously right now, we're all here in the introductory meeting, which is May 27th, 11 AM PST. And then we're just going over general stuff right now. And we'll have a short session afterwards talking about some apps, get you on started, maybe, get some ideas running. And then later today at 2 p.m. PST, aka it's actually not that far, it's only like 3 hours, less than 3 hours. We'll have our brainstorming session. And then tomorrow in the morning, we have our exciting live coding session where one of our officers, aka Richard, a very experienced and competitive coder, will go through and share his coding process, maybe giving you some insights. And there will be like a quote unquote prototyping and UI UX design workshop, basically teaching you guys how we can, when you're making an app, what is the process, right? first of all, you have to prototype the app, and you have to think about how do you design the UI components, right? And then tomorrow night at 7 p.m. PST, we'll have our conclusion. We'll have our award ceremony there too. So make sure to finish your apps and your submissions for like the challenges before, I'm pretty sure I wrote it over here. Make sure it's before 5 p.m. tomorrow for PST time, which is 7 p.m. EST, if you want to 3 hours after this. In general, that's the gist of this workshop. Our first workshop. Obviously, we do want feedbacks after the workshop so we can improve and hopefully do better in the June workshop. In general, these are all the information. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know right now. If you don't have any questions, just type yes in the chat. If you do have a question, just type your question. If there's no questions, we'll move on. Since this is our first workshop, we'll have some like special titles that you can earn, which in normal workshops, after it synthesizes, we probably will not be giving out so much exclusive titles. But in general, how it's going to work will be basically rating of your submissions, and then we will be like tallying it all up, and then depending on who has the highest points, then we'll post the rankings. We'll update the rankings every once in a while after we get more submissions. In general, the base submission, right? So we have 250 points per challenge, meaning for every single app that you submit for each challenge, right? For example, I submit one for the, for example, if I submit one app for the blacksmith challenge, then I get 250 points. If I submit two apps for the blacksmith challenge, I still have 250 points. However, if I submit one for the blacksmith, one for the sculptor, I get 500. You gotta be very careful about the per challenge over here. And then for the quality of the apps, you can get actually a bonus up to 500 bonus points. That's a lot of points. So if your app is really good, then you can actually get like a bunch of extra points on top of like the base submission points. All right. But anyways, and then we have the deductions, right? So if your app submitted is like inappropriate, then why would you do that, right? You'll lose all your points and you will get a warning in App Club, depending on the inappropriateness. If it's really inappropriate, you might just get that. And then if the app submitted is incomplete, but demonstrates effort, it's only minus 50 points. So you still get 200 points, okay? So that's still really good. So make sure to submit even if you didn't finish. It's still a lot of points you can get. And then we have our live sessions, which we will have our participation on the session points, aka 100 points per session. So right now, all of you guys already gained 100 points for just being here in the session. And in the session, obviously the base point is 100 points per session, right? So if you join 2 sessions, that's 200 points. And since we have 4 sessions, but not counting the last one, so you can gain 300 points. But in each session, if you have like participating a lot, giving good comments, or like just doing really well, showing effort, then you can gain up to a bonus of 250 points. But this only applies for the session 2 and 3 because we'll actually be doing stuff then, aka like the brainstorming and also like the coding one. And then, however, if you're inappropriate behavior, obviously, lose all your points plus warning. And if you're AFK or inactive, like when we ask you to answer something, you're just not answering, then you'll gain 0 points. Officers such as Karsik, he will be keeping track of who participated in each of the meetings. He will be writing it on Google Doc or Google Sheet, so we know who's actually in the meeting. And he will basically be keeping attendance of everyone at the start of the meeting, and also at the end of the meeting. So if you leave, then you don't get your points. And then he will also be writing down if anyone has like alternate behavior, or if anyone is AFK. All right. And then this the special one, it's up to you guys to discover it. It'll be kind of hidden. So I'm not going to tell you obviously what the secret is, but that's up to you to find it out. And then for the awards, since this is just like a general workshop, our awards will be looking like this. We have for the top 3, we will all be gaining 1 month of Discord Nitro, and then for the top performance, there will be a bonus of $20 gift card to anything you want. You can just give you a Visa gift card, or if you want something like Apple or whatever, as long as $20 is something. The special part is about the titles, because these titles this is for like the first workshop. Usually in the title, we won't really be giving out 3 titles for each workshop, only the top performer gets a title. So definitely, if you want, try to snatch the titles this time. And then for all participants, as long as you participate, you'll be getting the digital folio title. All right, so now I'm just gonna see if anyone have any questions to see if we're gonna move on or not. All right, if you guys don't have any questions, we'll be moving on. As everyone know, I've just explained like the general concept and the gist of this workshop, and that's basically all for the workshop, right? About challenges and then about live sessions, and then I'll be updating the rankings correspondingly depending on the submissions, how the submissions are looking. If you're wondering how to submit, it's actually very simple. All you have to do is just go onto the challenge submission, and then here you can just press new post, and then for your post. All you have to do is just if you're making like for the challenge that's not the sculptor challenge, you can just put like your MIT App Inventor gallery link if you're making it using MIT App Inventor, and then you can just put your link in the message and then title this the app name. If you want to add a description to the app too, to explain how it fits with that particular challenge. And if you're a sculptor challenge, you can submit the app, or if you're making something in Blender for 3D modeling, feel free to just upload your project. So like the sculptor challenge is that more creativity. In general, these you will be able to see like the guidelines for these challenges over here. So if you forget anything, you just like press the guideline and then see. Also, do make sure when you submit to select the correct tag, right? If I'm submitting for the blacksmith challenge, make sure to click the blacksmith challenge tag, and then don't click two tags. Like for example, if I'm submitting for all 4 challenges, right? I'm not putting 4 gallery links in this one post and then just selecting all 4. I'm gonna have to like submit a separate post for each one. Okay, that's something to be very careful of. You don't want to just like have all 4 of the submissions in one post. All right, but in general, that's like that. So now, waiting for a bit to see if there's any more questions, and if there's not, we'll be moving on to our second part. That's the gist of the workshop, and hopefully we will be waiting to see your response. For some parts of the workshop this time, we will not be using Zoom, so make sure to be careful to see where the event is being held at. We might be hosting it on the Say channel for the Discord server, so make sure you can have access to that. All right, but yeah, just make sure when you able to do the Say channel, just make sure you can actually do that. All right, I think like there's no questions, so we'll move on to our first small live session. So if we're going to create an app, right, we need to know what we're going to do to create an app. For example, today we're going to go over 3 different apps in our app teardown, and then we're going to basically just we have to dive into what makes an app different, right? What makes this app good? We'll be analyzing 3 different very popular apps, which is Spotify, Duolingo, and Uber. So we'll get started with Spotify. I know all of you guys heard about Spotify. There's no way you guys do not know what Spotify is, whether you use it or you don't. But I'm pretty sure most of you guys have heard of Spotify. I probably even use it. So, general description of Spotify is just popular music streaming platform that allows users to listen to a vast library of songs, podcasts on various devices. However, there's a lot of these kind of music streaming platforms, such as Apple Music too, right? Not just Spotify. So now let's look at what makes Spotify stand out from the hundreds of music streaming apps. Obviously, they combine a lot of different strategies to make it more appealing to the users, right? So the business model for Spotify is to have these 2 plans. One is Spotify Normal, aka the Spotify Free, and the second one is Spotify Premium. The difference is that one is basically like a free ad supported tier, and the other one is like a premium version and it's ad free. And basically, this allows 2 types of users to both able to use Spotify, right? One is for those people who prefer free access, and second one for people who are more more committed and is willing to pay for the premium perks. This is very beneficial because it satisfies two different customer base. So this is a very smart approach because it's very good to have like a premium version so people can buy for better at better quality. And the truth is that, for example, right, I'm making this app or I'm making this website or whatever. I have like just like a normal tier and then a premium tier. Even if the premium tier, I say like, okay, if you get premium, for example, it's like a video streaming like platform, right? I say like if you get premium, your video quality goes up like by 50%. The truth is that the difference between the actual video quality going up may actually not be very apparent. However, saying that it will go up by a certain amount makes it for those people who are willing to pay to have something like, okay, actually get this, right? It justifies his action to why he would pay money for it. It's like this psychological effect is very apparent in all kind of business models. That's why I always have like the premiums. One, to get money. Second, as a way to further motivation. Then we have Spotify's unique design. It has a very clean and user-friendly interface. It's a very good UI design. And the importance of UI design is that, for example, if I'm going to an app, I'm going to use this app. I see some like really like weird looking, unorganized app. First of all, it's going to be very hard for the user to use, right? That's why it's called user-friendly interface because it's easy for the user to use. It's very intuitive. Like you don't have to explain a lot to them, like, oh, this is this, this is this. Like when you see it, you already know what you do, exactly what you do, right? That's very important. Second, is how do you have this clean UI design, right? The Spotify has like this very clean UI design of dark theme and also like very good navigation to like the playlist and also a personalized library that makes the user feel like they can create their personal songs that they like to listen to. Uh, and also Spotify also uses AI algorithm that analyzes user behavior to suggest music, and that's why they have like the feature like Discover, Weekly, and Daily Mix, right? As a way to keep users more active and engaged. So this type of algorithm is like not even just using Spotify, right? In YouTube, we have like also have the same type of algorithm. But this type of algorithm, why it's there, is for the users to like less likely to get bored. But they always have this sense of freshness. Why is freshness so important? Because when you get something like new, right, then you have this excitement because of freshness, quote unquote freshness. However, after like listening to this song that you really like for a very long time, the type of excitement that you get and enjoyment you get out of that music actually decreases over time. It's very normal. It's because of the lack of freshness in listening to that music, right? So that's why the discovery for a smart device, and that's why a lot of like apps uses it, right? But in general, you will see that all these successful apps, right, they always and almost all the time will have a very good and clean UI/UX design. And that's why tomorrow Rich will also go over that in his workshop, where you'll be hands-on make your own UI design in Figma. Figma is a very popular UI design platform. But now moving on to the second one, Duolingo. I know all of you guys have been told you about Duolingo since you were childhood. If you're not, then congratulations, you're really lucky. But Duolingo is we have four terms four phrases that can describe it. One, language learning platform impacting global education. Second, it uses a gamified approach to language acquisition. Third, it's not like the traditional platform like norms, right? And fourth, it turns lessons into engaging challenges. These four phrases is exactly what Duolingo used to frame their business model. The Duolingo approach is basically a gamification in language learning. It uses daily tasks, weekly tasks, and also the streaks to keep users engaged and do not want to stop. Like one of my friends, currently she has like a 378 days streak on Duolingo. Then they don't want to stop. They'll be like, oh, if I stop today, then I lose my streak, right? So that's another like kind of motivation. Even though like, okay, I have this like really long streak, it doesn't really do anything to me. But like people, like, we want to have that streak, right? We wouldn't want to lose something that we have been working for so long. That's a very smart approach because like Duolingo, they don't really. It's not like you getting a long streak, you get any award out of it. Duolingo without giving you an award, it still makes you want to like stay, keep using it every single day, even for like a short amount of time. But still, you're still using it every single day. So Duolingo has a very active consumer base because of its very smart approach, right? And also, it does transform like learning into some kind of a game, right? And then there's like experience points over that, right? That's a very smart approach because this way, like I guess consumers they wouldn't really feel like it's like okay the boring learning, right? They feel more interactive, more engaged in the learning process. They feel like they're playing a game. When kids think about games, the first thing they think about is the games that they usually play. So that's why that always has a positive connotation. And therefore, due to that generalistic and positive connotation, it will make it so when people, they do Duolingo, it will feel more fun. It wouldn't feel like the boring old classroom language learning, right? And as usual, it also has like, the business models, aka premium service and the primary service. As I was talking about, UI design is very, very crucial in almost every single app. In Duolingo, you can see that the UI design here is very, very different from what we just previously saw in Spotify. Spotify seems like more like techy feel to it, with like more like modernish feel. This one is more game-like feel, right? More kids-friendly in a sense, and also it integrates, the Duo the Owl, aka a very memorable mascot that whenever you see this bird, you're gonna know it's Duolingo. It's always there. You can say in a sense it's hunting, But that's a very memorable symbol. And why that's important is that therefore they basically trademarked this owl. And like whenever you see this owl, you think about Duolingo. It's a very important concept. But anyways, you can see that in this UI design, right? It's very, very like gamified. It honestly looks kind of like a game too. You have like, level ups, experiences, all these stuff that you can do. They don't try to frame stuff in a sense where it sounds like learning. They try to frame stuff sounds like more fun, right? Even though you're learning a vocabulary about traveling or whatever, it feels like you're actually like playing a game about traveling. So that's like different. That's why this UI design is very like good because it fits and it really, really fits. Like UI design is not about being good. It's not about just like being good. It's about whether it fits the consumer base and what are you going for. Duolingo is going for a gamified approach to learning. So therefore, the UI design should be also like rendered towards that scene. That's why we're gonna see like the lights and stuff like that. So that's like very, very playful approach, right? And then as usual, it also has like the general algorithm for spaced repetition. Also, it uses chatbot technology for conversational practices, and then also it does use some AI its application to enhance its features, mainly for tailored based user experience. And then third one, probably maybe you don't use it that much, but maybe parents do. Uber, the transportation distributor, right? Disruptor, I meant. It's a revolutionary app, and it basically changed the taxi economy and the transportation economy forever. So Uber has a very unique proposition, right? It introduces this revolutionary idea of shared economy. It basically directly connects like the consumer with the driver. Consumer as in the people who need a ride, and the driver as in the people who works for Uber and drives the people, right? AKA quote unquote taxi drivers. And they can all do this through navigating through an app. And this is much better than the traditional taxi models because taxis, first of all, you have to look for taxis. Second, it's not always that you don't know where all the taxis are. You have to go to like a taxi place where just like they have all the taxis and stuff like that. So it's very annoying to use in a sense compared to Uber, right? Uber's special point and why it stands out in this economy is because of its easy to use as a primary design focus. It focuses on real-time ride booking and tracking. It features transparency, like estimated fare, ride history, and rating system. So you can see what you rode before and also the amount of money you're spending all of them. So first of all, this allows users to provide them with money management, which is very important and attractive to a lot of consumers. So, and taxis, that means you have to actually like buy a book, write down everything, which is like write down every single time, like on your phone or something, like how much money you spend. That's annoying. An app that's good always remember it always makes something like a problem that exists before into a solution. Before, the problem with taxi is hard to use. I don't know where the taxis are. I have to find taxis or I have to call them. Another thing about annoying is called, I cannot know where I went in taxi before. Doesn't have a documentation of where I went. It just spoken. However, I think Uber, it shows exactly what happened. So that's like much intuitive. But yeah, for all of these three apps, right? Like I said, it's like a very short presentation. But for all these three apps, you will see the similarities is that it doesn't matter what category they're in, whether it's music or language or write, they always solve problems and they always have good UI design. It's always very fitting. In Uber, you can see that like, okay, very clear, right? It shows the car, the person, the type of car, and then it shows like where you're going, where you are. In Duolingo, a very gamified approach to the UI design. And then for the Spotify, a very modern feel. So all these three UI designs are very clean and like, professional production level, right? Obviously, in our workshop, we do not expect you to do something like that. And it's actually really hard to, make really good UI design with MIT implemented, honestly. So we don't expect you to do that. But you should try to figure out about how we can make good UI design. Why? Because UI designs can be very vital to bring out your app to stand out, right? As we approach the season of June and summer break, there's going to be a lot of competitions to come. And in your competition, how do you make your app stand out and successful? It's just like how these apps are successful. Because most of these competitions, they're rating the apps based off of its ingenuity, how it solves the problem, and all of these stuff. Basically the same concept as how these popular apps are successful, right? So if you can make your apps as like on a quality or close and attempting to like, try to work towards these type of popular apps, you're definitely gonna have a higher chance of being successful in these CS related or app related competitions. For example, if two people in this competition, for example, there's like this competition you're going to, right? A hackathon or whatever. But two people have proposed the same idea, right? Then how the judges gonna rate whether which app to choose gonna be rated based off of like how they make their app approach the idea. For example, the idea is just like solving the problem of food wastage. One person creates this app with a very bland UI design. The other one creates a very like fitting UI design. Definitely choose the one that was fitting UI design. Why? Because when judge look at the app, the first thing they're gonna see is the UI design. When someone sees a bad UI design, they're gonna have a bad impression on the app. The UI design is the thing that gave the first impression of the app, right? That's why it's really important. Then it's about how you solve your problem. Uber is really smart in how to solve the problem. It's very revolutionary. So you have to make sure your idea for solving that problem specifically be also very revolutionary. It cannot be very generic, right? And if you are going to base on something that have already previously existed, then it's gonna be really hard for you to stand out. And if you want to, you have to make sure all your different like approaches, like this technology use, technological innovation you have, and also like the UI design and stuff like that, has to be like top-notch level. But in general, I just wanted to like have this app tear down, just go over like the three of the popular apps, and then just talk about why they're successful, and also the importance of UI, and also the importance of this concept of having to solve and pioneer a problem. But yeah, today's app tear down is very short. Just wanted to go over this general concept, and then I don't want to like make this in too long because in like 2 hours and 13 minutes we have our brainstorming innovation. And in that innovation, in the brainstorming session, we will be going over how we think about ideas. How do we make an idea good? Right. For the brainstorming session, we'll be hosting it on Zoom. We'll have 4 panelists, and then we'll be going over ideas. We'll have some breakout sessions for everyone to participate in. So we hope to see you there. And then in the session, we'll be basically, first of all, we're going to be talking about what makes an idea good. Then we're going to be talking about how we can think about these kind of ideas. And we're going to be, we'll be like doing a live brainstorming sessions. After that, we'll be doing a small idea pitch. And after that, we'll be doing like some kind of a game. Basically, like we're going to be all making one idea. Anyways, that's for the introductory. That's basically it for the introductory session. And we hope to see you in around 2 hours.